Hey, what's happening? Tim with Nomad Trading. Okay, let me get over here. Gonna do a little runner recap quick here before I have to get out of the office. Um, Obviously, the biggest winner of the day, or the biggest one that every day trader was watching, was OBLN. Um, I'll show you my trade first. Yesterday was a bad red day. Was very unhappy, which led to me actually breaking my rules, but it worked out in my favor. Let me show you this. So one of my rules, everybody that watches my channel a lot knows that I don't hold stocks overnight, hardly ever, and I don't hold shorts overnight, hardly ever, because that's how I've had my biggest loss, was holding a short overnight, and the company got bought out overnight. The news came out, etc. But last night, actually, look at GRTS going up a bit here after hours. Anyway, so last night I was watching it, and it just seemed absolutely insane to me on the news that it was up here in the high 20s. So I kind of watched it all after hours, and then at one point I took a short position at 28. Let's see, somewhere right around, yeah, $28. I took just 50 shares, so that way if I woke up and it was up several dollars, it is what it is. I would have lost a couple $100 again, but I thought this was just completely overbought and gonna at least gap down, maybe sell off, but gap down I thought pretty likely. So I took 50 shares at $28, even though I don't typically hold overnight, and it did gap down. Here's my P&L. So made $300 basically on GRTS. It came down. I held through this little pop here, but then it looked like it was consolidating around 22 and above 22, and I thought it might end up popping up. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to take the 300 and get out of it. And I took the shares off, covered right in here at 22. Just before, it went all the way down here to 18 or so. So, that was a little bit depressing, because I would have made a couple hundred more bucks of the 700 I lost yesterday back, but it is what it is. I still made $300. The overnight that I don't typically do did work out in that situation. I just felt like in that particular situation the stock was way overbought, and I could have very easily got squeezed more. And if I would have been holding it into open, I was definitely not going to hold it into open, because I thought, this is the kind of stock, when you get a stock that can make a move like that and it's got some eyes on it at open, a lot of the time on the second day at open you'll see them rip up. So I knew I was not going to hold into open, and even if that meant taking a loss, I would still get out of it before open, because of this exact move right here that I thought to be possible. And sure enough, it did. I wish I would have gone long at that point in time, but I didn't, because I knew, in the back of my mind, this is the exact scenario where these like to rip up on day two at open. They like to rip up and then fail, and exactly that happened here. So I wish I would have gone long on that, but I didn't. Anyway, so made $300, just shorting the gap down and then getting out of it. Other than that, and it is still moving kind of now, I'm not really sure why exactly it's popping up here at this point, but it's just a scary stock because it can move so much. It can go from 24 to what is this, over 27.50, so over $3.50 a share in this 1 5-minute candle, just in the blink of an eye. So it's a scary stock either way, either long or short. It can have a big quick drop or a big move up. Anyway, OBLN, we'll look at that. This is the one everybody was kind of watching today and trading. 441 million shares traded on the day, so that's a lot, especially considering this is not like a 50 cent or a $1 stock. We're talking about up here at one point over $10 and still trading 441 million shares. So that's a lot of volume. It's coming down now. I would look for it to maybe bounce in this area, but we'll see, because it has come down from over 10 and faded all the way back down. And this is where it had support the last time around. So this is where I would look for a possible bounce. We'll see what happens, though. Definitely looks more backside of the move, but we'll see. Maybe it bounces here and consolidates into the rest of after hours, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow. But at this point, yeah, it's you could try to take a bounce play here, but you just never know. It is after hours. They move kind of funny after hours. Could come all the way back down to touch the tops of this candle, maybe around $7 or around VWAP. Just have to watch and see. Thanks for those of you that liked this so far. I appreciate that. Going to be somewhat of a quick recap today. I got to head out here shortly. But OBLN, like I said, this is the one that everybody was watching. So you kind of had a few different places you could take a long position. If you took it long position as it curled up past the previous high right here, that would have been a good spot to enter. You could have bought this pullback here. It didn't really form that much of a bull flag or a bull pin. It just kind of made a move up and then pulled back and then curled up. So you could have bought this nice big 5-minute green candle where the volume came in. That would have been a decent entry point up from around 7, anywhere below 7, and then obviously it went up past 9, so you could have got $1 a share pretty easily, maybe $2 a share if you had the staying power to hold it. And then it kind of pulled back. At this point, probably wouldn't have been buying it because it looks more backside of the move with this pullback here. But again, it did rip up nicely and make a new high. It just, to me, for my liking, looked like it was giving back too much of the gain on that, and I would have had a hard time pulling the trigger that much above VWAP, and with it pulling back that much, I would have, and not really at any kind of support that I could find there. So anyway, if we look out on the daily, we can zoom out about 2 years, and you'll see the high of this candle here was in the 1060 area, which is almost exactly where today's candle topped out at. So it did find resistance at around the same area that this candle here did on this nice big green candle on the daily chart if you zoom out far enough. Beyond that, if it were to break out beyond that, yeah, it could go up in the 15s before it really finds another spot of good resistance. What else did we have today? That was the hottest one. CLBS. I don't know why you did that. See, silly E-Trade. CL. I'm not typing right. CLBS. That's what it is, not CBLS. CLBS. So we got a big sell-off kind of here into close. As far as this one goes, not a whole lot of opportunity because of the way the chart looks. It's pretty much a sideways type of chart. Could have bought it at the open as it broke above this high right here. That might have been a play you could have made, but again, it sold off pretty quick and came back down below VWAP, then ripped up again. And if you had bought the break of the pre-market high, it didn't have a whole lot of meat left on it before it came back down. So not a ton of good setups on this stock. It did have 127 million shares traded, so it had volume, it had eyes on it. It did gap up, but just didn't present very many good opportunities. And then it sold off kind of with the rest of the market. If we look at the overall market, this is SPY, which is the S&P ETF. It sold off into the close a bit, so it took quite a few stocks with it. Oh, what else did we have? Let's see here. I'm having trouble with my mouse and keyboard. ADMP was another one. Thanks for the likes. We got 4 likes on it. Appreciate that. ADMP. Let's see. Gaps up. This is one that had quite a bit of movement on it and had several setups if you're watching it closely. I didn't see it until it was somewhere in here, so it didn't do me a whole lot of good. But if you were watching it, it had a nice bull flag or bull pennant, whatever you want to call this here. Kind of more of a bull flag than a bull pennant, but basically you got your pull and then it kind of consolidated and then it started ripping up. So it had a decent setup there, or you could have just bought the new high of day past 115. Then it came back down, tested VWAP. This would have been a good spot to go long because you see it break below VWAP, but it ended up quickly bouncing right back above VWAP. So when you see that, that tends to be bullish. If it had stayed down below VWAP, in that case, not so much. But considering it quickly bounced back up and held above it, the body of the candles held above VWAP. You just had that wick where it jumped down for a second, but then was quickly bought back up. So when you see that and then you start seeing it move up, a lot of times that'd be a good spot to take a long position. Or you could have bought the high of day again here, the break of the high of day again here, and another nice move up here. This is why you don't get too greedy, or I don't anyway. I play things safe because a lot of times you can see stocks come right back down. So if you get greedy, you're up here waiting and holding, thinking it's going $2, and of course it sells back down all the way down to VWAP. So at that point, it was a no play for me unless it broke out again, because just a lot of wicks. It kind of seemed like it was doing a lot of consolidating in this area here and more backside of the move. So not really looking to go long at that point. Sold off into close, like I said. Several of them did. YQ was another one I saw. This one would have been, it had a few little setups on it, I guess. I have to zoom in a bit more. The chart on the daily chart is kind of what kills this for me, because it had huge days here where it went all the way up over 20, almost to $24 from down here in the $10 range. I'm going to guess it's probably a recent IPO, or it could be a merger. I'm not really sure, and E-Trade's not showing me any news down here to show me if this is just a new ticker change because of a merger or something, or a buyout, or if this is an IPO or what. But the first couple of days on the chart anyway that I could see, it ripped way up and then it faded all the way back down to 12. So that kind of kills it to me, because a lot of times on first big green day you'll have a nice move, but it doesn't typically get up as high as it did today. So I was watching it, but I was thinking, with all this consolidation and the way this is faded down, that it's pretty likely to get stalled out somewhere in here. But it didn't. It went higher than I thought it would. It stayed above. You could have bought the VWAP bounce right here. It did bounce off of VWAP or the high of daybreak around 1550 or so, and then scalped it for 50 cents or maybe a little more. After that, it would have been a buy of the high of daybreak here around 1687. You could have bought it as it started to make that curl and held it through the high of daybreak, or you could have bought the high of daybreak. You might have got stopped out because it did come down a little bit lower than you would like to see. It did not hold above that high of day. It came back down all the way down to 1662 before it made its move back up. But again, going all the way to 1940-ish. So has some nice movement right here. This would have been probably the most. This is where it kind of opened up on you. Probably got some shorts covering at this point. They probably weren't too worried until it got to that point and started moving up. Kind of opened up a little bit, but then again sold off into close, kind of like we saw with several other stocks, and that I think was because the overall market was starting to pull back at that time. So 3 out of 4 stocks follow the market. If you get the market selling off into close, a lot of times you'll see stocks like this having a harder time running into close. They'll start selling off with the market. So could be forming a bit of a head and shoulders here. I'd be a little bit careful if I was thinking about going long, that it doesn't form another shoulder and then head farther down. We'll see if it can consolidate and move it through after hours consolidating here. Then maybe in the morning we could see another spike. We'll just have to see. It does have the potential to move pretty good. Only 11 million shares traded, and it had a pretty good move from 12ish to almost 20 on only less than 12 million shares traded. So pretty good mover. Let's see, KRKR was another one I had. CLBS will go to $5. I'll look at it here in a second. We looked at it already, but I'll check it out here in a second. Okay, KRKR. This was one that had nice big green candle. Let's see if we zoom out if it has. Yeah, it's got some resistance up in that area. So no surprise that it topped out there when you got this move here that's kind of topping out in that same area and then fading all the way back down. So as far as setups go, you could have bought, I mean, if you bought the high of daybreak way down here before it really had much volume, you would have been a genius, because it never even tested that area again, just nothing but up from there. And that was down in the threes, and it's up to 6 even now. So, excuse me, had a really good move there. Could have bought the VWAP bounce because it did hold above VWAP. It didn't really bounce that great. I guess you could have bought it. I like to see a quicker bounce than that, but it did curl and then break the high of day around 5:30. Kept going for basically $1 a share, so pretty easily could have had 50 cents or so a share on that move just buying the high of daybreak. Now after hours, it looks like it's trying to curl, but we'll see what happens. This is could be a bull flag formed here if this can keep going, but after hours we're going to have less volume. It's going to be, sometimes you get exaggerated moves, but other times you don't have enough volume to really get the move that you're looking for. We'll see what happens with that. GSAT was the only other one I had written down. GSAT. This one would have been a pretty good, it broke out, but then it came all the way back down. So we don't really like to see that, but it curled up and broke the high of day and then formed a pretty nice bull pennant right here. So you can imagine your trend lines there. This is going to be really rough because I'm just kind of drawing it real quick freehand, but you got your nice flag pull up from here, and then it kind of consolidates tighter and tighter. Then as it makes its move up, that's where you go long, and then boom, it shoots up to over $1.40. So that was a pretty nice move there, pretty nice setup. And gonna jump back over to CLBS for top medium. Let's see. Is it gonna go to $5 tomorrow? That was the question. I would tend to say no, but you don't really know. It's finding support here at the 200 moving average. That's kind of why it's bouncing off that level right there. That's good, but this is a pretty good sell-off here from the threes all the way down to under 280 going into close. But like I said, the rest of the market was selling off too. But we see it making lower lows, somewhat downtrending here. We're making lower lows as we go down, and then it did have a nice new high here, but then again it went below VWAP, kind of bounced off the 50 moving average, made lower highs throughout the afternoon and lower lows. So not what I would like to see if I was looking for a stock to go to $5 tomorrow. That doesn't mean that it won't. It does have 127 million shares traded, so it's got quite a few eyes on it. But I'll have to watch and see. I'd say a level to watch would be the 320 area as it finds resistance there and there on the daily chart. Then up here in the 360s, you can see that's kind of where it opened up today. Where it was finding a little bit of trouble there was at that same previous high right there. So yeah, I would say if I was going to guess on it, I would say no, it's not going to go to $5 tomorrow, but you never know. If I was going to guess, I would say at some point we get a spike out of it, maybe in the morning up into the threes. But after that, I mean, I would have a hard time predicting that it's going to go up above 4 again. You never know. It could if it gets enough eyes on it. What was I'm looking at the news down here. Patient treated for phase 2B trial. So it's on Phase 2B trial news. Pre-market trading, Phase 2B freedom trial. Just kind of looking at the news at the moment. Upcoming investors conference, it says that was 14 days ago. So yeah, it's a biotech, which obviously they have the opportunity to go up like crazy, but they also love to fade down a lot. Holding them multiple days can sometimes be pretty risky. Yeah, I'd definitely be watching that 360 area. If it can get back over 320 and then get back over this high here of the 360s, then maybe it can get some shorts covering and get a move back up where you're wanting it to go. We will see. But no, I didn't take any trades today. I hadn't seen anything I really liked, and honestly, I didn't really. I didn't sit in front of my computer all day watching the markets. I kind of checked in here and there, didn't see anything I really liked, and then would go about my day. So I wasn't as dedicated to the stock market today as I should have been, I guess. All I did was hold that one stock overnight. Plus, part of me was, after yesterday losing $700, and then today I was right off the bat, I was up 300. So I was kind of determined to not give that back. So yeah, a lot of times I kept looking at stocks throughout the day, but I was like, oh, I'm up 300. I've made back almost half of what I lost yesterday. So unless I see a really good setup, I'm not going to just throw away the gains. I kind of wanted to end the day on a nice green day and then start again fresh tomorrow and see what we have. But kind of scared, I guess, today. So unless I saw an amazing setup, I wasn't going to trade, basically. A bit late today. How was the day overall? Yeah, it was. The market was having a good day overall. Markets were like in inauguration day. This is the S&P 500 ETF, which I watch a lot of time to kind of gauge the overall markets. So yeah, SPY anyway was liking today. Made new highs today. There's quite a few movers. I talked about them already, but we had OBLN, CLBS, ADMP, YQ, KRKR, GSAT. There was quite a few movers that were up quite a bit. If we look at, this is my screener that I use a lot of the time to kind of look at what's hot and what's moving. So there was a whole lot of stocks up quite a bit today. This is the list. 19 stocks that fit my criteria that I have on this stock or on this screener. Typically I'll have like 8 or 10. So if I get up in 19 like today, that means there's a lot of stocks moving, and that's of course because the overall market was moving up, so it was a lot easier for stocks to go with it. I felt very unmotivated today. Maybe I was still recovering from losing the 700 some yesterday, but I don't know. I woke up to that being up 300, took that trade pre-market and covered that short position, and just didn't feel like giving any of that back. I don't know. I felt happy with being up 300 for the day and just didn't want to give it back. So I guess I kind of ran away. I checked in periodically, but didn't see amazing setups in any of those stocks. So anyway, let's see what else is going on. Anything else going on? What did you guys trade today? Did you guys take any trades? I remember when the first few years that I was stock trading, I traded all the time, like every day. And it's kind of funny that, people always say trade less and all that, but like this is, I'm profitable on the year, and I don't know. There's a lot of days that I don't take trades, or that I take only one trade or two trades. So maybe there is something to that, because I know all the years that I lost a lot of money, I was definitely trading a lot more. Like there would almost never be a day that I didn't trade something. Even if I was at work, I would be trading the markets and stuff. So maybe there's something to that, trading less and only trading the setups you see, and I don't know. Could be something to that. I can trade. It's I don't know. It's just kind of funny because I can trade as much as I want, and in this account, it's over PDT. I gotta wait for the cash to settle because it's a cash account, but no PDT and plenty of money to trade every day. Same thing with the CMEG account, but there's a lot of days I don't trade, so I don't know. Or maybe I've just lost some of that fire. Whenever you first start trading, I was obsessed with it, and over time, that watching the markets all day, every day, it gets to where you just kind of sit back and look at it. If you don't see what you're looking for, a lot of times you don't trade. But again, like today, I didn't sit in front of my computer all day. I probably would have seen some more moves if I sat here and really watched it. I just did other things. Watching the news, yeah, I did a lot of that too. It wasn't very exciting though. The news, the inauguration, all that, they had all those fences set up and everything. I thought it was going to be a crazy day, and it really wasn't. So, and that's probably why the markets liked it. The markets probably liked that it was more business as usual than what people anticipated. But if we look at the daily of the market, the S&P, you can see today making new all-time high. Big green candle breaking out. So markets liked it. I think you're right. It seems to be that way to me anyway. I lost a lot of money the first several years, and I was trading every day. I was obsessed with the markets and every day looking for spots to take trades. Whereas today, in this time anyway, I kind of just glance through and look at all the stocks, and there's a lot of times that I look at it and I'm like, I don't see anything. Somebody might, I guess the difference is kind of knowing what you're looking at too. Like, somebody might look at, I forget which one of these charts it was. I don't know. I can't remember, but one of these charts I was thinking, if you're a new trader, you're probably seeing 127 million even on this shares traded, and there's tons of opportunities there. And when I look at it, it looks like mostly sideways movement, and it looks like below VWAP and below the 50 moving average most of the afternoon, and I just don't see a lot of opportunities there that I would really feel comfortable taking a long trade. And even a short trade, I might have taken a short where it got rejected by VWAP there. But if you took a short at the high of day, you would have been squeezed out pretty quick because it actually went higher than the pre-market high. So I would have been stopped out. So when I look at a stock like this, a lot of people, if you're a newer trader, you might think, 127 million shares traded, and you look at the overall stock, and to you, it looks like there's lots of opportunities there. But to somebody that's been trading a lot or doing it for a few years, might look at this and say, well, I don't really see a lot of opportunities there. There's some movement, some sideways movement, and there's volume there, but I don't see a bunch of amazing setups. Sports with a Purpose says, what do you do for a living apart from the master of the graphs? Nothing. I do this. I trade the stock market here and there. I do like I'll contract out work for my little brother's media company. He's got a media company that does like websites and TV commercials and stuff like that. So he'll throw me a project here and there if I'm looking for something to do. So I'll do some projects here and there for him. And then I make that little bit of money from YouTube, which has been frustrating lately, by the way. And that's it. Yeah, I don't really do much. I pretty much lost my job or quit. I guess you'd say I quit because I took severance money and walked away from them. And I could have stayed on a list, hoping to get my job back someday, but I didn't want to do that because they screwed us over so bad. So that was back in like October, or I think October, maybe November. And yeah, I didn't plan on even looking for another job until after the first of the year. So I'm really just now getting to the point because I thought, do I really want to start a new job going into the holidays and Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and all that stuff. And I just didn't want to. So, my whole life since I was 18, I've worked, never had more than 2 weeks off, even when I had a baby born or anything. I've never taken 2 weeks off from the time I was 18 until now. I'm 36. So 18 years of never being off more than 2 weeks. Not between jobs, not when I had a baby, never. And so I kind of got to that point where things didn't work out with my job, and I'm not in a financial spot to where I'm like really needing to work, I guess. So yeah, I just figured, hey, I'll just skate by for the next several months and take some time off and spend time with my kiddos and kind of do the YouTube and trading thing. And then after the first of the year, I'll start looking. If I want to find a job, then I'll start looking for a job. So that's kind of where I've been at. And I've been kind of hoping that maybe trading would work out or the YouTube thing would work out and I could just keep staying from home. So I don't know. That's where I'm at anyway. 2 and 5. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. That's pretty cool that your kids are 2 and 5. Mine are 7 and 8. So my girl's 7 and my boy is 8. He's about to turn 9 in March. So yeah. How do I disconnect? That was actually very difficult the first couple of years, or maybe first few years. I was obsessed with the markets. I mean, obsessed. I spent all my time. If I wasn't working, I was pretty much obsessing over the markets. But now I actually need to be plugged in more. Like today, I really should have been plugged in more. I should have been trying to find some opportunities more today than what I did. So I don't have trouble disconnecting anymore. I used to, but now it's more staying motivated to be connected to the markets. I like it, and it's still, my favorite thing to do, I guess. But just over time, you become less obsessed with it. So like today, if I didn't start the day off $300 up from that overnight hold, then I probably would have been a lot more into the markets today. But when you start off $300 up, and my goal's only 100 a day, and after yesterday being down big, I don't know. I kind of was like, I'm just gonna sit back and relax, check in the markets here and there, and hang out, not stress about it. The YouTube algorithm is funny because I did a couple of stimulus videos and they're getting tons of views actually. So the algorithm's been shining on me as far as that one stimulus video has like 11,000 views or almost 12,000 views, which isn't a ton except for when you're in like the trading niche. As far as the trading niche goes, there's a few guys that get views like that, but most of us, it's pretty niche. So you don't get, a couple thousand views a day on a trading video unless you're one of the top guys. You're doing pretty good if you get that many views. So that stimulus video is actually doing better than most any of my trading videos, except for like maybe one of them. So the YouTube gods have been shining on me in that way, but it's just funny because I'm not making hardly any more money. So it's like those videos are monetized and they're getting tons of views, but YouTube doesn't. I guess the advertising people are paying less money for the stimulus videos than what they do for the trading videos. That's the only thing that really makes sense to me. But it is frustrating to see that, like, I used to be happy if I'd get a 500 or 1,000 views in a day on my videos overall. And with these stimulus videos, I've been doing like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 views in a day. So you would think I'm making a whole bunch more money, but in reality, they're making hardly any money on those stimulus videos. So it's like, I don't know, almost pointless. I could make a bunch more stimulus videos and try to kill the algorithm, but when you look at it, it's like, well, I'm not really making much more money. It's just getting a bunch more views, which is good, I guess, but it's disheartening. Where's my money at, YouTube? Getting a lot more views. Send the money my way. Anyway, yeah, as far as you're a jerk when my stocks are down, I feel bad. I feel you on that. I was that way yesterday. I had one of my bigger down days. It's been a while since I lost $700 in a day because I trade small enough that usually doesn't happen. And so, I fought with that also. I had some times where I was not being the nicest to my kids, and I had to step back and realize that, like, hey, don't let that affect your mood. It's just money. You'll make it back tomorrow or the next day. It's going to be okay. I tell my buddy that all the time because he trades. He's pretty new to trading, but he trades bigger size, pretty much exactly how I used to trade whenever I started. And I keep telling him, like, dude, you need to size down because you're ruining your life. You're doing what I did, and you're stressed out all the time. You're upset. You're mad. Stock's not doing what you want, and it ruins your life. I can remember so many days where I was just like super depressed. Even yesterday, I was emotional yesterday, which is the first day in a long time that I've been emotional. Usually I trade small enough that $100 or $200 or whatever is not the big a deal. But when you lose $700, that's a little bit painful. That kind of sucks. And being wrong, several times in a row, it's frustrating. The stock market can be very frustrating. Anyway, I'm gonna have to get off of here. Told myself I'll be off of here by 3:50, which is only 2 minutes away. So, thank you all for joining. I appreciate each and every one of you, especially my regulars coming in here and chatting it up every day. I will see you tomorrow. I'll probably try to focus a bit more on the markets tomorrow and take some more trades. It seems like the days that happens, though, the days that I'm like, all right, I'm going to get up early and watch pre-market the whole day, after hours, really be more dedicated to the stock market. And those are the days that I decide that. Those are the days that there's like hardly anything moving. And I sit there like, wow, that was a wasted day. There's like no stocks moving. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. It seems like the market's been heating up the last few days anyway, and last week. So hopefully it continues that tomorrow, and I'll probably be a bit more dedicated. Thanks for stopping by, spending time with me. I appreciate it. Appreciate the views and the chatting and everything. You guys are awesome. Have a good evening. Disconnect from the market. Spend some time with your family and loved ones and enjoy your evening. Whether you're up or down, enjoy it. And tomorrow's another day. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.